Quick dip for you today on homemade Mod Podge. Hey, it's Care. Welcome back to my dig at the lake. So the other day at a haul, I got some used glue. These were both open, but for 59 cents I thought I would try it. Craft Bond, Elmer's Craft Bond, 99 cents. That was the high dollar one. And I should have done a lot of things. I should just buy the Mod Podge for hell's sake because of the time it takes to make this. But I didn't. So here we are. This one, I poured it into a glass jar, or that was the idea, to empty it into a glass mason jar. This one was curdled. No joke. Like lumps, just like curdled milk. It was curdled, but thick. Hard to explain. But I figured it's old. All you gotta do is add a little bit of water. And so I put a little bit of water in my empty Mod Podge thing and threw it in the microwave so it would be really, really hot. And then I put it in here. I got as much of the curdled junk out as I could into the jar. And then I put hot water in here and got out as much as I could, shook it, and got out as much as I could. And then shook the shit out of this mason jar, put the lid on, and just gave her for a while. And then put my handy dandy brush in, and there were still lumps. I thought about putting it in my Nutra bullet. Then I thought better of it. I don't want to jack up my Nutra bullet. It's not worth it for a 60-cent bottle of glue. Duh. So I didn't do that. But then I thought, well, before I make any more, will those lumps go away? So I got out some of my new tissue paper and a scrap piece of paper, and I took that curdled, watered down, all-purpose white glue from Ross, and I put a coat on the bottom, and I tore up the tissue, and I put another coat over that. And I wanted to see if those lumps would dissipate, and they did. There's no lumps. There's no grit or texture to this at all. And in fact, it dried beautifully in that when you put Mod Podge on, there's always a sheen, even if you use the matte. I imagine that's the sealer, which these don't have. So if you're putting just glue and water to make homemade Mod Podge, it's not a sealant like Mod Podge. Mod Podge is a sealant, so it's going to protect your work a little bit. I'm going to put a second coat on here and just see how it is, but I love that you can't see anything. No lumps, no bumps, no shine, no sheen. It's just, it looks like it was always, it almost looks like it's printed on there. There's no, I'm really impressed with my curdled nightmare of a mixture there. So once I knew that that was going to work, then I put in the second bottle that I got. This one was high dollar, 99 cents. Both were about 3/4 of the way full. This one came out like marshmallow fluff. Super, super, super thick marshmallow fluff. And sticky. I have my little stir stick. It's still stuck on there, and it would string out just like marshmallow fluff. Same consistency, same thickness. But again, I squeezed out as much as I could into the jar, and then added super hot water to this, and shook it, and took my stir stick and got down into that jar. You can see where I scraped quite a bit out. And then I let both jars just dump into here. Don't want to waste anything, you know. But because I had to add so much water, because these were so dehydrated, that's what makes them thick, is that the water has evaporated. It's really super runny. like watery runny. So then I got out one of the bottles of Elmer's, and this one was about 3/4 of the way full too. And threw that in there, put a little bit of hot water in here, just a little tiny bit to clean that out, put that in, even though I didn't want any more water in there. And same thing with the extra bottle of tacky glue that I had. This was only about halfway full. I'm going to squeeze as much of it, put super hot water in here, and let that empty out into this little bowl too. Stirred it with my stir stick, and then shook it for a while. Now, it's still pretty runny. I can do one of two things. I can disregard that because I don't really care, or I can just leave the top off for a while. Just take that top off and the water will evaporate. Stir it with my stir stick every now and again so it doesn't get all gummy at the bottom. Just keep stirring it and let the water evaporate for a day or two, and it'll thicken up. Not a big deal. But as you can see, 3/4, half, 3/4, 3/4, and some water made almost 3/4 of a mason jar full. This is what I keep my homemade Mod Podge in because it's easy to access. This is not very easy to access. I do believe there's going to be extra because this won't hold it all, I don't think. Pretty sure. What I want to make sure to do, and what I want to make sure to share with you, is that when I dump this into here and seal this up, and this is not airtight, so this when it's in here, it thickens up a little bit too because this is not airtight. Once I pour it into here, I'm going to clean that off really good. Make sure that there's no Mod Podge left on the rim. I'm going to wipe that off with a wet paper towel. Oh yeah, make sure to rinse out your lid really good before you put it on. So I have rinsed and dried this really good and wiped this whole, the lip of it off, just like when you're canning, you don't want anything stuck in there, and wipe the rings. And then I put a little super thin coat of Vaseline around that edge, because as you see, that's about all I want in there, and I still have quite a bit left. So I don't want, because this is gonna sit a while, maybe not, because I'm cracking like crazy. This is gonna sit for some time. I don't want this lid on there permanently, and it shouldn't be now because it's all nice and clean and lubricated. Yes, indeed. I think the moral of it is just, well, I was going to say just buy the Mod Podge because of the time. I've taken quite a bit of time trying to empty these bottles and trying to get this consistency from lumpy and marshmallowy to workable. That's all taken time that I could have been making my crafts. But just buying the Mod Podge isn't really the answer because I really like this non-sheen option. So maybe in the end it will be worth the time and effort. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But it's better than nothing if you can't get out or you don't live near a place that sells Mod Podge. Almost everybody's got some of this lying around or some of this lying around. Any of these. Add a little bit of water, stir it up. Now you have Mod Podge, or at least a good substitute. That's my Mod Podge quick dip for you today. You go love up your beasties, have a lovely crafty day, and I will see you here again soon. I'll take you to the lake. Out for now.